Alright, we're going to continue on with our human body science study. Today we are focusing in on respiratory systems and circulatory system. Respiratory is what you use to breathe with. It's your lungs and everything that connects to the lungs. And circulatory is your heart and how it pumps blood through your system. So we're going to start off by reading about both of them. I will be highlighting some words as we go through that will be used later on. So if you want to highlight as I highlight, that's fine. So that's what we're going to do. All right. It says your body is made a million of cells that perform functions to help you live and breathe. Those cells need oxygen to function properly, and take in oxygen and transporting it to the cells is the jobs of the respiratory system and the circulatory systems. The respiratory system does two main things. First, it takes in oxygen and gets rid of carbon dioxide that your cells produce as waste. Air enters your nose or your mouth and travels through the trachea. It's a funny word, trachea. And then into your lungs. So it goes from your nose and mouth or mouth down the trachea into your lungs. Your lungs are composed of layers of tissue that are made up of millions of tiny little air sacs called alveoli. Each one is surrounded by blood vessels that oxygen enters and is carried through your bloodstream to the cells of your body. At the same time that oxygen is moving into your bloodstream, carbon dioxide is leaving your bloodstream and into the alveoli. The carbon dioxide then travels up through the respiratory system and is exhaled, sent out from your body. Just below your rib cage is a large curved muscle called the diaphragm. This muscle moves up and down, expanding and contracting, causing you to inhale and exhale. Inhale is when you take a deep breath in, and exhale is when you breathe out. Your circulatory system, so now moving on to the heart, is made up of your blood, heart, and blood vessels that help transport needed substances throughout your body and carries away waste. Blood is a tissue made up of cells and other parts such as red and white blood cells and platelets. Red blood cells carry oxygen and carbon dioxide, while white blood cells help you fight diseases. Platelets are cell pieces that help your body clot when you have an injury. For example, if you have a scab, have you ever had a scab? That is a blood clot. The heart is the organ that pumps blood through your body. Oops, you didn't see all that. Blood moves from the heart into the large blood vessels called arteries. So from the heart, through the blood vessels, or into the blood vessels, and the big ones are called arteries. These arteries are divided into different smaller paths for the blood to travel away from your heart and into the different areas of your body. Blood that has no oxygen remaining and carrying wastes, such as carbon dioxide, returns to the heart through a system of blood vessels called veins. Those are the tiny ones that go through your arm and stuff. From the heart, the blood is pumped into the lungs, where it releases the waste by exhaling and picks up more oxygen that you inhale. The fresh blood then returns to your heart, where the process starts all over again. Okay? So, hopefully you took some notes on what we read there, or just kind of highlighted things and paid attention. Now we're going to go to the next page. I'm going to open up my book so I can see both, but focus on this one. And we're going to do the foldable notes for that. Okay? Before we get started, I want to make sure we know what we're talking about over here. So this long piece going down here is called the trachea. So go ahead and label that trachea. Okay? Trachea. These here, on both sides, are called the lungs. And then remember that piece we talked about right underneath the rib cage there? That is the diaphragm. Okay. Let's take a second to write those down. Now we're going to open up the respiratory system here, and we're going to kind of go through the process. Okay? So it starts with an inhale. Okay, I'm going to draw a little mouth. There's the tongue. And air is going in. Right? Inhale. And it's bringing oxygen to the lungs. Okay? Oxygen is going into the lungs. And we'll draw our lungs. They're just kind of little blobs there. And from there, the oxygen is filtered into the blood. Oxygen filtered into blood. And then it's taken into the cells. Okay. And at the same time that that's happening, and I know I'm going fast, so once I'm done I'll pause for a second and Miss Gardner can pause the video. At the same time that's happening, CO2 is given off, that's carbon dioxide, given off by the cells. Okay? And that's going to travel up through the blood. This carbon dioxide is going to travel through the blood. Okay? And it's going to go back into the lungs. Can draw our lungs again. That's a trachea. And then it goes, that's our mouth, and it's going to come out as an exhale. Okay? So that's the whole process of the respiratory system. So if we want to press pause real quick until they get that written down, that'd be perfect. And I'm going to move on to the circulatory system. So I'm going to close that. If we still need it, you can go back and pause the video. Alright, moving on to the circulatory system. We're going to label our little friend there first. What we need to know here are the arteries. A-R-T-E-R-I-E-S. Those are the arteries, the bigger blood vessels there, the veins there. Of course, in the center there is your heart. Okay. Blood is going through the veins and the arteries. Blood. And these little ones here, those are the veins. Okay. So hopefully you have those pieces labeled. So you have the arteries, which are the bigger paths for the blood, the heart in the center, the little ones coming off are veins. And like when you go and get a blood test, let's see. You can see, you can't really see, but there's a vein there in my arm. That's what they go in through to get the blood for blood tests. And then blood is obviously going through the veins and the arteries. Alright. We're going to start with over here. Blood is pumped. Okay? Blood pumped. Okay? It starts in the heart, blood is pumped. It goes, and again, you can pause this at the end if we're going too fast. And then we're going to go, and that's going to get sent to the arteries. And those arteries eventually get smaller. And those get distributed into your body. Here's my awesome body. Okay, so it gets sent into your body. And that blood that's being sent through your body is going to mix with the carbon dioxide. This is a little symbol for with. CO2, and remember that's carbon dioxide. And that goes through the veins. And you can draw little veins. And then the veins go back, and your heart gets carbon dioxide, and all of a sudden it all goes back and starts over again. Okay? So if we need to pause that to get caught up on the drawings, again, if you can see my pictures, they're not artistic renderings of real actual human body. Is just a quick sketch to show the process of both systems. So if you need to pause, go ahead and pause. I'm going to move on to the vocab down here though. We have red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So if you don't already have your lines to show where the vocab words end, go ahead and add those, and we're going to start with what red blood cells are. And if you look back over in the third paragraph here, it says that red blood cells carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. So red blood cells carry oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay? They carry carbon dioxide and oxygen to the body. Whereas the white blood cells, these ones are really, really important also. And people that get sick a lot usually don't have as many white blood cells. The white blood cells are what help you fight diseases. Help you fight disease. Okay? And the last vocab word there is platelets. Platelets, also in the third paragraph there, says platelets are cell pieces that help your blood clot when you have an injury. So cell pieces that help your blood clot. Okay? It's important that we have platelets because if you were to get a cut, and it didn't stop bleeding, obviously, eventually you'd run out of blood. So it's important to have those platelets that help your blood clot so you don't bleed out and die. So, what you need to do now, after that's all done, if we need more time, we can pause it again. This is a good spot to pause because you can see all three of them. But after that, you're going to go through and you're going to answer this one on your own. We've done two together now. This is one where you can do it all on your own. Okay? So it says, describe how the respiratory and circulatory systems work together to make oxygen and transport it to your cells. Remember, we need to use complete sentences. Complete sentences. So the best way to start this off, if it's asking to describe how the respiratory and circulatory systems work together to take oxygen and transport it to your cells, well, we could start off with restating the question, right? So the respiratory and circulatory systems help our bodies by blah, 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 blah. So go through and get a nice answer written in there, and then you're going to show it to Miss Gardner when you're done. And hopefully you did a nice, good, detailed answer, and she'll have an answer to check with. All right? If needed, you can go back and rewind or go back and pause to get things written down if you missed it for whatever reason. All right. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and being kind and respectful. See you guys soon.